Good morning, this is Jack Precisely in the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 5th of August. My disclaimer, I did this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to trade charts. I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Okay, let's have a look at where we are now. Now, I hope you saw my post this morning. I was talking about the updated setup here, and what we did, I was talking about this obviously head and shoulders. We've got a little higher than would have been ideal, but this is still a very, very valid and decent head and shoulders, and we closed back over the daily middle band yesterday on both SPX and the Qs. So really we're looking at we're in another inflection point here. I'm watching for signs of reversal. The week 60-minute sell signal on ES here is promising. NQ, we got a week 60-minute sell signal brewing as well. We've got a full-size sell signal brewing on the IWM chart. All of these are promising signs. Now, this should turn back down again. The labour numbers from last week have not gone away. Frankly, with Trump having a close look at the and firing the head of the Bureau of Labour Statistics, it doesn't look like well, it looks like we may get less bad news in the future, but for all wrong reasons. Looking at the setup here, these head and shoulders are very nice. On RTY and YM, obviously we broke down from the double bottoms. You've seen a big rally. You often see that. There is nothing to say it's won't play out to the downside, but I've given it a 70% chance of breaking down to the downside because at any inflection point, there's always a chance that it breaks the other way for whatever reason. So ES, we got a week 60-minute sell signal fixed. Lovely looking head and shoulder setup. Just needs to turn back down, get down to the neckline support in the 6250 area and break down from that. Looking at NQ, the same. Obviously, this is the neckline. Break down below that, and we're well set up to go down. Week 60-minute sell signal brewing there. RTY, week 60-minute sell signal brewing there. Obviously, we're testing the monthly pivot here, and IWM is failing there at the moment. On YM, we haven't quite reached the monthly pivot. Still looks nice. This is a very, very nice looking bearish setup. No question about it. There is still nonetheless a chance that it'll break up into high retests. Obviously, that happens a lot in these circumstances, but I'd be leaning towards short afterwards in the event that we did do that. All right, DAX. DAX, we've seen a nice little retrace here, pretty much 50%. ESTX, a bit less than that. Again, nice setups, no current negative divergence at the moment. All right, looking at the big picture. All right, nothing on the SPX ADP. On ES, we saw a break significantly above, and not a strong break, but significantly above the daily middle band yesterday. We saw the same on SPX, and we saw the same on the Qs. That is something that we would generally see rejected the same day. Now, to a certain extent, we've actually seen that break down on Friday, and that was rejected the next day, but it wasn't a really strong break back above. This is not quite a close on the daily middle band. It has broken above it, but it's the sort of thing where if we are going to go down, I would expect to see it rejected ideally today or otherwise tomorrow. We will see how that goes. In terms of the hourly signals, we've got... sorry, I haven't marked it in. We've got an RSI 5 buy signal, and that's because I wasn't using this hourly chart there. I'll just use the other one. Okay, on SPX, we've got, we had an RSI 5 buy signal fix on the hourly chart. That's made target. We've got an RSI 14 buy signal fix. It's not the strongest one, and this is the sort of thing that might fail. The main things I was really concerned about were the RSI 5 buy signals here on the hourly and the signals on the futures charts, and those all made target. And are potentially setting up to reverse here. Looking at the Qs, again, we've still got an RSI 14 buy signal fix. I expect that to play out really only if we went up and retested the all-time highs, which obviously could happen. And regularly over the years, we have watched that happen. All right, so looking at IWM, nice rally, didn't have a buy signal at the low. I'm watching, I did flag the key resistance levels here. I'd be watching the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average. And I'd be watching the same on Dia. Break and convert those, and we are looking potentially at, hang on one second. and we are looking potentially at setups which could get us back up into retest the high. So we shall see. All right, looking at the bigger picture on DAX. DAX, there's no reason to go back and retest the high here. We've already got a weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and there's every reason to think that may well make a target in the next few days. Do we need to set up a topping pattern here? We already got one. We got a very nice looking double top. This doesn't need anything else. It doesn't really look like there's any significant unfinished business above. NK, we've seen a nice fail from 42.1. Don't have an obvious reversal pattern here. Don't think we really need one. So hasn't made it back to the daily middle. The weekly middle band. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, that's removed. This has made it back to the daily middle band, and we've seen a break below it. It's not a particularly strong one, but we haven't really got any big patterns to be watching here anyway. All right, let's have a look at DX. Now, I was saying yesterday that we might well see this head and shoulders fail, and it's thinking about it. It would need to get back above this 99 level to do that, and I'm wondering if it might. We have got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed, and so far that's been playing out. I wouldn't be that surprised to see this. We saw a strong reaction downwards on the dollar here. I'm not sure that says an awful lot about the dollar on the bigger picture, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if this rejected back upwards. Looking at the other ones, we've got an IHS here on Euro, which again might fail. We've got an IHS here on GBP, which again might fail. USD JPY, no obvious pattern here. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fix. USD CAD, we've got a possible head and shoulders here, which again may be failing. We will see how that goes. Australian dollar, we've got an IHS here, and again, that may fail. And NZ, we've got an IHS here. That's broken up, and it's already failed. So we've only got one pattern which has failed so far, waiting to see how the others do. Right, looking at ZB, I was looking for a retest of this high here. We've seen it. Then we'd already done it, but actually we've got something interesting here on Zenith. I've drawn in this resistance trend line as a possibility here, and we've come up to it, and that's held perfectly so far. We may well find that we are heading down here in this rising wedge, and I've got the rising wedge support currently in about the 110.16 area. We've got a possible weak 60-minute sell signal brewing on ZN. We've got a 60-minute sell signal already fixed on ZB, and a potential part-formed head and shoulders or asymmetric double top here just above the weekly pivot at 114.28. Now, I was looking at these on the bigger picture. Could this be an overall bear flag here on TLT? Yes, and I'm wondering whether it is. No current negative divergence on the hourly chart, though. No current negative positive divergence. No, we do actually have positive divergence here, actually, on the hourly chart. Let's just see. This tends to update before. Yeah, these are actually trying to fix. So I need to have a close look to see if actually that was a lower low there. I'm not 100% sure, but we could have buy signals fixing here. And obviously we made the target at the retest of this low. Could this be the second low of a double bottom? No, it's too big. Could this be a flag forming on TLX? No, it's too big. Marginally. Actually, I'm not sure about that. It might not be too big. So I'd need to measure the fibs there, but actually potentially this could be a flag. If it is a flag, do we have a decent support trend line? Just looking at it, I'm thinking probably not. Very likely not. But nonetheless, this could be a flag. We could see a rejection back upwards, and there are plenty of reasons why bond yields shouldn't be coming down. So I'm watching that with interest. No divergence on the daily charts. All right, looking at CL. Now, CL, I'm watching this one carefully because what Trump has done is something he did a few months ago, and he's asked Saudi to boost production to basically lower oil prices. And it looks as though Saudi may do that. And if they do that, then obviously that's going to have downward pressure on oil prices. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing here, but that's quite a lot of downward pressure, and that could flip this towards the downside from this consolidation it's been doing. HO, we've already broken down from a head and shoulders, which has got a target down in the 2.2 area. 60-minute buy signals fixed, not been delivering a lot so far. RBOB, we've got an obvious trendline support level to get down to, and that's in the 2.07 area. 60-minute buy signal fixed, again, hasn't done a great deal. NG, no current divergence. Sorry, hang on. Sorry, sneezed. Okay, NG, we've got, I've drawn in a declining resistance trend line. We've had a couple of these so far, and neither of them held, so I wouldn't be reading too much of it in this. If this one fails too, at the moment we're trying to convert 3 to resistance, and I'm still leaning short. GC, we had a 6-minute sell signal fixed. That's almost reached the possible near miss target, but not quite. But really, this looks like bullish consolidation at the moment. SI, we broke down from a double bottom that could be failing, although this IHS, which has broken up with a target in the 38.2 area, wouldn't fail that. But at the moment, that seems to be playing out. We've got resistance at the monthly pivot, which is holding so far, and a weak 6-minute sell signal that is fixed. On Palladium, 60-minute buy signal is fixed, not delivered so much so far. We've got a double bottom here, but with really no action suggesting it's going to reject higher. On Platinum, we've got a little double bottom which is broken up, but that's finding resistance again on the monthly pivot so far. Those might need a push for them to go higher. If they don't go higher, obviously we don't have a downside target now on Platinum, but we do have an open downside target here on Palladium, which I'll be watching. All right, looking at HG. HG, this still looks like a very muted bear flag forming. This should be setting up a retest of this low here in the 4.3 area. We will see how that goes. I'm leaning on the bigger picture towards this going lower. KC. Are you hearing me all right, George? I'm getting a note that there's a poor network connection. Okay, cool. All right, KC, I think we're in a bearish consolidation setting up a retest of this low, and I think we're probably going to see that sooner rather than later. Sooner if we actually manage to convert the monthly pivot into resistance, which it looks like it's doing at the moment. SB, weak 60-minute buy signal reached the possible near miss target. At the moment, this is a part-formed IHS, and it's showing absolutely no sign of breaking up. If it continues down, I'd be looking for a retest of this low here in about the 15.4 area. Looking at CC, the IHS here has failed, and we've got a little smaller head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 7,500 area. I'm not seeing anything suggesting that won't make target. CT, we've been seeing a bit of a rally here, but we've got an open target below at a full retest of 66.25. I'm still leaning towards seeing that. Lumber, we've got a 6-minute sell signal fixed now, and we've got a possible little head and shoulders forming. So I am wondering if that might play out, and if it does, that would have a target at about the 667 area. Looking at wheat, nice downtrend here. Still leaning towards seeing lower targets. I think I've got a target on here at about 495. Nothing to suggest that isn't going to make target. 6-minute buy signal is fixed, but it's been in a downtrend basically since it fixed. Looking at corn, no positive divergence. Again, I've drawn in a decline resistance trend line. Again, I've got lower targets. On soy, I've got lower targets as well. We're seeing a bit of a rally. This little double bottom, I haven't marked in the arrows, but the target would be in about the 1,002 area. We had a buy signal, and that's now made target. No? Yeah, it did make target. Okay, on looking at soybean oil, we've broken down below this rising megaphone, and we've got a double top, which is broken down with a target at about the 52.2 area. 6-minute buy signal is fixed, hasn't reached the possible near miss target yet. Live cattle. Could this be a head shoulders? Not a good one, no. I think this could be a double bottom, though. Watching to see if this goes back up and retests the high. Lean hogs, we have broken up from the falling megaphone, and we've got a nice little level bottom, which is broken up with a target in the 92.5 area. I'm not seeing anything at the moment to suggest that won't make target. Okay, just a quick recap on ES. We've reached a big inflection point here. We've got negative divergence. I'm liking the downside here, but as with any inflection point, we could see a break the other way. If we see a break the other way, because I think the main two options for the downside are either A, we kick around here and then see a hard rejection today, or B, we kick around here and we see a hard rejection tomorrow. If we see a significant move higher, and if the monthly pivot converts into support, then we could see high retests on ESNQ and potentially on RTY and YM as well. We shall see how that goes. All right, great. In that case, that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning.